Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy you're here. Today, we're going to be doing a little deep dive and just kind of my personal experiences around goal setting. What makes a good goal? How do you create goals that you actually stick to and can achieve at some point in the future? We talk all things mind, body, planet on this channel, so it really kind of covers a lot of different things. And a lot of times I talk about eco-friendly options and swaps and how you can be more sustainable and things like that. But I've been really passionate about goal setting, especially with 2024 here. I have just not been very good about it. Let's be honest. I feel like I keep setting goals and I don't really keep myself accountable towards them or know how to really create a goal that really stuck with me. And so I did a whole deep dive into it, and I figured I would just share my findings with you guys, just share what I have found has worked for me thus far in my life, and share kind of some of my advice and tips and exercises and methods as far as goal setting goes that you might really like too. So let's talk about it. First of all, I don't feel like it's any shocker for me to tell you that goals are important. I just I feel like we grow up and everybody tells us that goals are just something that we should always have. And you should have a goal to work towards. You should have a dream job, or if you're in school, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then shifting everything in your life based on whatever you want to be when you grow up. Maybe it's a goal of wanting to be in better shape. Maybe it's a goal of wanting to eat better. Maybe you want to be stronger. Maybe you want to be smarter. Maybe you want to start a new hobby. All of these things are goals that I feel like people always tell you, set a goal so that way you can achieve it and hold yourself accountable. However, my experience with goals is similar to my experience with routines. And if you watched my video from a few weeks ago, you know how I've shifted my whole mindset with routines. So this year is the year that I want to shift my mindset around my goals. I'm really great in December and January when I sit down and I type out and I write down all of my goals. What I'm not great about is following up on those goals. Did I actually do them? I literally could not tell you what my goals were from 2 years ago. But last year I tried a different method, and surprisingly it kind of worked. And so I'm doing it again this year. We'll see what happens. I'll keep y'all posted. But I figured if it worked 1 year, that must mean it'll work this year too. So this is what works for me. Figured I might as well share it with you guys in case one of you guys out there could use a little help in setting goals and sticking to them and accomplishing your goals. The first thing that I do with goal setting, and this is also in my guided routine reset, because I talk a lot about routines. You can't set a good routine if you don't have goals in place. Your routines are meant to help you achieve goals. So I think those go hand in hand. And if you want to learn more about my thoughts on routines, I have a whole video that I posted about loose routines, which you can find on my channel. I will link it up here if I remember. But I think a lot of times when you think about goals, it's because somebody is looking at you and they're like, well, where do you want to be in 5 years? Or where do you want to be in 10 years? And I've never been the kind of person to be able to know what I want to do in 5 to 10 years. In my opinion, I feel like it just feels so far off that it just feels, I don't know, just unrealistic or unreachable. I mean, I think if you're in school, you have kind of the structure to either go to a university or have some sort of thing to work towards. So maybe in 5 years, you'd be like, well, at that point, maybe I would have graduated school. But to really go down to the minute details of what your life would look like in 5 to 10 years is really daunting, at least for me. So maybe it is for you too. Maybe you felt the same way. So the way that I've kind of gone around that is this method that I've been kind of calling the 2-2-2 method. And it's just that it's 2-2-2, like the number 2. It's the triple 2 method. And essentially what I do with my goals is I break them down into different sets of 2. So I break down my goals into what are the goals I want to accomplish in 2 weeks. So I write down everything that's very short term, things that I know off the top of my head. What are the things I need to get done in the next 2 weeks? It feels a little bit more of almost like a brain dump. Here's everything on my mind that I need to get done in the next 2 weeks. That's your first step there. Then you move on to what are the goals that you want to accomplish in the next 2 months. So a little bit farther down the road, but still feels reachable, still feels attainable. Maybe they take a little bit longer to complete, but overall not super long. It's 2 months. Then my last little bucket is I like to write down the goals that I want to complete in the next 2 years. And I like 2 years because it feels a little bit more approachable. When you talk 5 to 10 years, like I mentioned, it just feels way too far off. It's sometimes really overwhelming to try to figure out what you want in 5 to 10 years. However, 2 years is really not that much time. 2 years is enough for you to really have 1 year under your belt. You kind of know what your next year is going to look like. And then the following year is kind of a year that is it's more approachable, but it's still farther in advance. It's a longer term goal that you can work towards in the next 2 years to go ahead and reach. I found when I break it down into this 2-2 method with goal setting, I feel a little bit less overwhelmed with everything. It feels a little bit more approachable. I keep using that word approachable because goals can feel unattainable. They can feel like they're not approachable. However, when you have the right tools and the right methods that work for you and your lifestyle and the way that your brain works, then they should be approachable. You should be able to break down each of your goals into something that you want to accomplish, and two, don't feel too overwhelmed to be able to work towards on your day-to-day basis within your routines. Once you write down your goals, the only way you're going to complete your goals is if you understand the why behind them. So an example that I like to use, and I'm just going to go ahead and give a trigger warning here. I'm going to talk about exercise and weight loss. So if that is something triggering for you, then definitely skip ahead of like 2 minutes or so, and I'll move on to another example. If one of your goals that you write down is that you want to lose weight or you want to feel a certain way about your body, then you have to know the why behind it to really stick to that. If your goal is to go to the gym 5 times a week, but you don't really know why that is, you're just doing it because somebody else told you, or that's what somebody else does, or it's a very superficial thing, like I just want to lose 10 pounds, and you still do not understand why you want to lose 10 pounds, nothing in the world is going to motivate you to get out of your house and go to the gym. It's just not going to work that way. Instead, what you could work towards is understanding your why behind each of your goals. So in this case, if your goal is to lose 15 pounds, maybe it's because your current weight that you're holding on to is inhibiting you from actually spending quality time with the people around you that you love. And you want to be able to walk around a theme park with your grandkids or your kids or your friends or whatever it is. You want to be able to go on hikes with your significant other and not feel so out of breath when you reach the top of the hill. Those are true reasons why that will help motivate you to actually accomplish your goals. So I'm done talking about weight because it's always a tricky topic, because it's just something that I think a lot of us kind of struggle with, especially women in today's society. However, this goes for every single goal that you have. If your goal is to make a certain amount of money and you don't actually understand why you want to make that money, then it's not motivating you to actually get it done. If you want to make a certain salary number and your goal is that you want to put a down payment on a house, and the only way you're able to do that is if you're able to make more money, well, that's something you can work towards. But if you just want to make more money because you want to make more money, there's nothing really there that's going to motivate you in the same way as when you understand the why behind each of your goals. Those are basically the 2 exercises that I go back to every single time whenever I'm thinking about my goals, whenever I'm trying to hold myself accountable to them, whenever I feel like they just feel so lofty and just so big and I'm feeling so small. That is what I go towards whenever I'm thinking about what are my goals? What can I do to reach those goals? How can I achieve those goals? How can they stick? How can I not just say I want to do something and never follow through with it? So I thank you for sticking around and listening to me. If you want a better way to reset your routines, I actually have a 5-day email challenge on my website. It's on sale for only $10 right now because it's still pretty new. It's a 5-day email challenge to help hold you accountable in setting your routines and refreshing and renewing them in a way that works for you and your lifestyle. And there's a bunch of exercises that go with that, along with a whole exercise that I created around the 2-2-2 method, setting loose routines, time auditing, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I had such a huge problem with routines and goal setting in the past that I made it my mission. I was like, I'm going to learn how to do this, and in a way that makes sense for me and my lifestyle, and I found something that works. So obviously I have to share it with you guys, because what is one thing if you find something that works for you, but you're not able to actually share it with other people that could help too? So with all that being said, if you like this video, please give it a like. You can always subscribe to see my face some more. I post pretty much every single week, and then I post my podcast episodes on Mondays as well. If you want everyday content, I post on Instagram and TikTok pretty much every single day. Last thing I'm going to mention, if you feel like this video might help someone in your life because you think they might benefit from something in this, feel free to just share it with them. Let them know, hey, I think you might like this video. It helps me and the channel so much, especially in trying to get the word out about how we can all just like live a life that is so much better for our mind, our body, and of course the planet. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today's episode. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I think that's my whole spiel. I might have forgotten something, but I think that's the whole spiel. Who knows? I'll get better at this as time goes on. But I will see you guys next week. Bye.